Oh, let me tell you this. Nick is here. This is an amazing story that I want to give to you real quick. My producer, Nick, is here. He's also known as the Anchor Baby, and he's signing photographs like 90 going north and getting them to you. So amazing.
I'm busy all day now.
And Daniel is getting the phones out there, so just hold on to the caller that just called in. He will get to it in a minute. So, as I've said, I do a lot of counseling around the world. And I've been counseling with this young man that I've never met in person, but I do Skype counseling with him. And when he first started calling for counseling, he was still in high school. He's now 19. And I was talking to him on yesterday, counseling with him, and he's out of high school. And over there, you have to go to the military for a minute. So he's going to the military for whatever long it take. And so I asked, he said to me, I saw that interview you did with
Destiny
and his girlfriend.
Fiance, Melina.
Yeah, fiance, Melina. And Melina is from Sweden. And that's where this young man lived. And he said, he started laughing and he said to me, he said, Jesse, all the girls in Sweden are like that. He said 99% of the girls in Sweden are sluts. They are sluts. And I, really? And I asked him about it, because this girl that I interviewed, what's her name? Melina, said that there's no Christianity in Sweden. Mm-hmm. That Christianity doesn't exist, so she doesn't even know about it, right? And so, because it was awful seeing her with no values at all. She admitted to having sex with 50 men and women. If I had done something like that, I wouldn't even admit it. What? No. Some stuff you just don't admit, you know what I mean? No one can do anything about it anyway, but gossip about you and try to hurt you. But, and so that was very interesting, that interview with both Destiny and his fiance. So I was asking this young man he's like, 99% of the women in Sweden are sluts. I'm like, really? And I asked why. He said, because there is no Christianity. They don't teach Christianity over here. And if they do, it's just intellectual stuff, hooping and hollering, throwing up hands, but they don't really do it. And in his school, he said that they teach you socialism. The teachers teach you what they want you to know about socialism. They don't teach you about anything else. And he was telling me that over in Sweden, and I was telling Nick about this morning. That's why Nick has some amazing stuff to show me, and I want to share that with you. So this young man in Sweden was telling me that over in Sweden, that the girls are all sluts. It's about 99% of them. And the men are weak. 99% of the men are weak. And that the girls are desperate for a man to a point that they welcome illegal alien men into their country, the Muslims and other illegal aliens from Africa and everywhere, because they're looking for a man. And because they are so slutty, they think sex is love and all that, they're like having sex with the illegals, like 90 going north, and are proud of it. He was like, it's a mess over here, Jesse. So I asked him what helped him not to be so secular. And he said his father taught him not to be that way. And so he's growing up not to be that way. His father's a baiter, he said, but at least he taught him not to be like that. And so I was telling Nick about that. And he talked to me about a whole bunch of other stuff about how Sweden used to be a Christian country, and a lot of the white people fled the country and left because they were taking away Christianity and the values were disappearing. And he was like, Jesse, in my school, whenever I disagreed with them about abortion or anything, they wanted to kill me. They literally wanted to kill me. And so, Nick, I would tell you about this
Yeah.
story, and you brought up some other stuff that's happening over there that I didn't know was that deep.
Well, when you mentioned the refugee thing, it totally reminded me of a bunch of things I've seen online. There's a whole, I've seen examples, and there's a bit of a culture of women fetishizing refugees, and it's more common than you think.
Right.
And I kind of put together a few of these examples because you hadn't told me about this before. You told me this morning.
Right. I just happened to tell Nick about it in our meeting this morning because I talked in the counseling session. I had this conversation with this young man that lives in Sweden, and he wanted to get out of there. He wanted to come to America, and he talked about how sad it is to see America going down the same road that Sweden has gone down by getting rid of religion or Christianity and destroying the men and putting the women in position. And he said that that's the Karl Marx way of bringing in socialism, is to get rid of Christianity because Karl Marx hated Christianity. And he knew that if he could destroy the men and bring the women in the forefront, that they could help usher in socialism. And they did that in Sweden. But anyway.
This is true. In fact, specifically, the sexual liberation of women is a big tenet of enacting socialism and communism in a nation.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so what you were saying about women being into and having sex and being into the refugees because of a misplaced need for a man.
Yeah, they're looking for the men, but the men in Sweden, 99% of them are beta.
Well, you might know this about Sweden already, how a lot of refugees came in and the rape statistics went through the roof.
Yes.
Well, if you just do a quick Google search, in fact, just before even that, if you just do a quick Google search of refugee like support groups or refugee protests or anything, you just get image after image of women. Women predominantly, they support these refugee like initiatives. Refugees welcome. In fact, this is one from Sweden. That's the Swedish flag. Refugees welcome, and it's just picture after picture of women. They very commonly support these kind of initiatives.
Amazing.
And so you might remember how Julian Assange, WikiLeaks guy, he released these statistics of Sweden and showing how their rape statistics were through the roof when they were the #1 European country to let in refugees.
Wow, Sweden was?
Yeah. That caused a lot of attention and uproar.
Yeah.
But despite that, and this is from Time magazine, despite that, Swedish feminists in Sweden, they urged for fairness in sexual assault cases in Sweden concerning refugees. They're like, we got to be fair.
Meaning that they don't want to accuse the men of being raping them.
Yeah, in fact,
they want the man.
Yeah. In fact, Tina Rosenberg, she says it's very dangerous to racialize sexual harassment. And she's the founding member of Sweden's Feminist Party, basically defending the rape refugees, right? And so it reminded me of this one picture, and this is a mural in East London. And this mural was painted up in East London in around 2017. And it reads, sex with refugees is jasmine-scented and beautiful.
Wow.
It's sick. So there's this huge mural.
No wonder Destin is over there.
It's this huge mural in East London. And, of course, I get this from The Guardian, and this woman reporter, Jade Jackman, is loving it. She's like, this is poignant, and just like loving the whole idea that this was even up in London.
Wow.
Yeah. And I do have a few other examples.
Okay. When I come back, we'll finish those examples. We have to finish this story about what's happening in Sweden, and that it used to be, at one time, it was a Christian country. They have removed Christianity because of Karl Marx theory. And this young man knew all about Karl Marx, too. He's a real smart guy because that's what they teach over there. They teach us in the school. And so they have removed Christianity. They have destroyed the men. According to him, the men are weak. 99% of the men are weak, and 99% of the women are sluts because the men are weak. Even women who are married are sleeping with the refugees because their husbands are weak.
Wow.
And so over in Africa, maybe we need to let these Haitian men know that. Maybe they'll leave here and go over
to
there.
Sweden.
No wonder ain't no white women around here. They're all over in Sweden.
You can get you a white woman to go to Sweden.
I'm telling you. And so he was telling me that the women are sleeping with the Africans and the Muslims and any man that come because they're looking for a real man. And they have no values because they have not been taught Christianity in their homes or anywhere. And so Nick has some backup of that.
Yeah, I just finished telling you about how Swedish feminists were defending basically rapists in Sweden, despite skyrocketing rape. How women were defending this mural we just showed in East London, saying that sex with refugees is jasmine-scented and beautiful.
Amazing.
And I just remember other things that I just, following this vein, I remember seeing this online hashtag, and it's this on social media, on Twitter and stuff, open borders and open legs. It's sick, but it's real. There's this it seems to be like a group out of women in many different cultures that seem to get into this like misplaced love for men in that way. Oh yeah, this one is a dirty one. This is from Canada. This protester. I blurred it out because that says my thing is open as for refugees.
She said my cat is open for refugees.
Yeah.
What a slut. She all happy about it. Look like a politician. My cat is open for refugees. Her legs are open.
So when you said that this morning, I got plenty of examples for you. You reminded me also of that show, 90 Day Fiancé.
Yes.
On TLC. And I remember seeing, there's a couple of women on that show who find refugee men or immigrant men from like Africa or like Jamaica and stuff like that. And I noticed that it's for the same thing, that they get this misplaced, like, oh, they were heartbroken before, they're looking for a real man.
Yeah.
But they end up having to take care of the man because he doesn't work, or they cheat on him.
Amazing.
It's just an anecdote from the show.
Yeah.
And this one's another interesting one here. I'll end with this one. This one's from Breitbart. And this story got some attention in 2016 because activists in this migrant camp in Calais, which is in France, they were accused of sex tourism and sexually exploiting migrants, with many attempting to justify the relationships as normal. So this refugee activist group called Calais for Care, or Care for Calais, which is, we have a picture of it. It's mostly women. They were found to be having sex with a lot of the migrants they were supposed to be taking care of.
Really?
And this got some attention back in 2016.
Amazing.
And according to a lot of people familiar with the story, see, that's one of them. According to a lot of people familiar with the story and to Breitbart, it says that the allegations are not new within the large networks of left-wing activists and volunteers who regularly travel to these refugee camps. It's a known thing, apparently, according to Breitbart. It's a known thing that these migrant activist groups are known to be rife with, like, there's sex going on between the activists and the migrants or refugees.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're proud of it because they have no shame about being wrong. And the reason they have no shame because their parents are not teaching them that. And Christianity doesn't exist. And my PR guy just texted me and said the taxes in Sweden are outrageous. Everybody's on some form of welfare. And what really stood out for me was, not really stood out, but I had no idea that these women were desperate for men. They were having sex with the refugees looking for a man. And also how they had used the woman, and it was part of Karl Marx's idea. And Karl Marx was the socialist guy, right? Communist guy, back in the 1800s.
Correct.
And he hated Christianity. According to the report, Karl Marx was so evil, his family thought he was possessed. Really?
I never heard that.
Yeah.
I heard you say that the other day, but I never knew
They
that.
thought he was possessed. And so one of the ways that he bring in socialism is by destroying the men and bringing the women in, putting them up front. And I'm not surprised to hear about that because I knew that evil came through the woman. The gates of hell is through the woman, right? And when you think about what's happening in our country, ever since the women have started to take over the homes, the schools, the government and everything, it's just been hell. And more socialism and more socialism and more socialism. And now they're like pushing the women to be in government. I mean, every time I look around, some woman is running for a position in government, the police department and everything. So if this continues, then we will have socialism in America to a higher degree than what it is. And this young man was telling me that it's sad to see America going down because he really loved America, and that that at one time America was so respected. When people look at America from other parts of the world, it was so respected because of Christianity and the way the American thought and the freedom and the Constitution. And now they're looking at America and they see it going down the same track, a road that they have gone down, and they hate to see that happen to America.
Wow.
Amazing stuff. You had one other video you would tell me where some woman was feeding refugees?
Well, you see, I couldn't
some
find
man
it.
or something.
I couldn't find it, so I don't want to say too much. But maybe some of you viewers out there may have seen this. And it's a video of a white woman helping a migrant, and I don't forget where exactly.
Oh.
And I forget if she's feeding him food or giving him water, but he's all pitiful and like he's all like hunched over. But he walked there. He has hands. Like he's definitely, I'd say he's definitely playing it up because he's all hunched over. He's like, please give me water. And the woman's like giving him water, and then he starts like touching her, and it's like sick.
Wow. One thing I noticed about white women, they love to save black men, the pitiful man. They're ready to do it.
Yeah.
And then the men just rip them off, take advantage, cheat on them, beat them up, take their money and everything. One last story, and we got to keep looking at this Sweden thing because I'm learning now how socialism really comes in and what happens. And now it explains why they hate Christianity even more so, because Christianity, the real Christianity, would stop it. It wouldn't allow it to happen. And I asked this young man, did you think America, because he wanted to come to America when he's done in the military over there. And I asked, do you think America will ever turn around? He's like, yeah, I believe so. I'm like, why? Because America still has some Christianity left. And he's thinking that if it really got bad, or when it get bad, the Christians going to join forces and stop it. That'll be interesting. Because the Christians are so intellectually into the Bible, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. Amazing story. We're going to keep up with the Sweden story for sure, because I interviewed that girl with Destiny, and I was stunned. I had no idea, but it also showed me how low a human being can go with no values. With no values.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Thank you, man.
Right on.
Let's go to amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.